Can you believe it's been a year since we started this podcast?
Flew by 1 week at a time.
Yeah, it did. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of it. So, are you ready to start the show?
Sure thing.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to One Man and One Woman, the podcast. I am one half of your co hosts, Tara Michelle.
And I am J. Flan.
I do want to apologize to you guys. I know I sound a little bit off. I am hoarse. I was sick for about 10 days, but this is our 1 year anniversary. We will be dropping this episode on the 11th. Technically, last year we dropped our first episode on April 12th, but you know what I mean. So, roughly, or it will be a year for any of you guys listening on a Saturday. um, I'm excited. And this was such a surprise for me when I clicked on Facebook the other day and it was like, you've just released we just released the pilot episode or the intro or the whatever we called it, the trailer. And I put in there, first episode will drop on April 12th, which is a Friday. I could not believe how close we were to a year. So my first question for you is, what has this year been like for you regarding the podcast?
It's been interesting. The lead up to trying to decide if we were going to do a show, was interesting. Was a process, and then developing a new show was a process. Coming up with concepts and cover art and um, agreeing on recording schedules and the day of the week that it releases and promotion strategies and website. I think there's a lot that goes into this that, if you're just on the outside and thinking about starting the podcast, is not just hitting record and pressing send or something. There's other stuff that goes with it. So it's been a process, I came from doing a solo show that was just me to doing, this show, which is a collaborative effort. I've done some other like radio shows and things like that, but never a podcast I had to produce um, with a remote co-host. Um, and so yeah, this has been a learning experience for me. The conversations have been a learning experience for me. It's been a journey.
I agree. Um, I think a lot of people don't realize how, I'm glad you just said that because people don't realize how much goes into doing a podcast. I can't imagine what it's like once you get to a Joe Rogan or a Joe Budden level. Although, to be honest, both of them make it seem like they don't put any effort into it. I mean, I know they work on their, topics and things like that, but it's very relaxed and nonchalant. It doesn't look like there's this big spectacle and, thing going on. It's not real pretty. It's just a bunch of people sitting in their sweats talking to each other. And I love that. I love the relaxed feel. And I wanted that for us too. Do you think that, well, for me, for this past year, it's been fun. I think coming from doing so many podcasts where there are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people, this made me appreciate podcasting so much more. I do not like being on podcasts with huge ensemble casts and panelists. I don't. Too many voices, too many attitudes, too many opinions, which makes either you have to only talk about one or two subjects. So everybody gets to go in and say what they think, and then people get to respond, or you go over. And the next thing you know, you have a 2 hour, 3 hour podcast. And nowadays, people don't have that mental capacity. They are microwave, and 15 seconds is all you get to capture their attention for real. So I love the fact that I'm able to do a podcast with someone who I know thinks, drastically different than I do on a lot of subjects. I think it's beautiful. It's a woman, it's a man. So you have the masculine energy, you have the feminine energy, and we just, I feel like we represent the world in an amazing way because we think so differently. We can't encompass everybody. It's not gonna happen. But I think we do a pretty good job of expressing our opinions and adding something new to the mix. I don't think any other show out there is like us, but we have a lot of romantic and relationship shows and things like that, but a lot of times those people think alike, and a lot of times those people are really putting themselves in a box, only talking about one or two different subjects, and we do it all. So for me, this past year has been so much fun, and this is my favorite show to do. I can't get myself to get back on my YouTube channel, but I'm here for one man and one woman, unless like I'm sick or something. The next question is, did it meet your expectations for everything that you thought we were going to come together to do? Do you think in this first year we met your expectations?
Yeah, I do. I think again, everything about this show is like opposite perspectives. You were fairly new to the podcasting game, had been a guest on a show, but didn't have a show of your own, and where you almost came in with these panel podcasts. Where it's completely different for me. I was 6, 7 years in the podcast game. Before we even met. I My familiarity is with a solo show, with not having to wait to speak and not having to battle for the mic or compete
Oh,
or anything like
dang.
that. Um, so yeah, like everything was almost polar opposites. So I really came into this with not many expectations. I know how difficult it is to launch a podcast. I know how difficult it is to capture an audience. Um, like I said, I'm 6 years in, so for me, it was just create, the journey of creation, like creating something. The conversations leading up to coming up with the name, or the process of, like I said, creating the cover art, um, coming up with the topics. The joy of creation is something for me. I'm a super nerd, and there are times where I will go to our podcast host and I will just scroll through the list of episodes, because just seeing that there are 40, 50 some odd things that did not exist until, myself and someone else set out to make them exist, and now they exist and they'll probably exist forever, um, is dope to me. So yeah, and that, to answer your question in a very long roundabout way, yes, it did meet my
I
expectations.
love it though. That was beautiful. Um, we've talked about this before, and I cannot remember why. Maybe it was at the 6 month mark. I don't know. But do you have a favorite episode? And is it the same one it was last time?
Um, no, I don't know. I think the other thing about me that people may not know is that typically once I record something, I edit it. I spend the time editing it, which means I have to listen to it, most of the way at least again, and I cannot stand listening to the sound of my own voice. So, I record these shows, I edit them, I put them out, and then they are gone. It's not that I'm saying they're gone, but I've moved on. I don't really revisit them. So I've enjoyed a lot of episodes. I can't tell you I remember what the topic was, but I've enjoyed a lot of the conversations that we had. I say that to people so that they know, if you enter into a conversation with me as if I just finished having that conversation that you heard on the podcast, you are sadly mistaken. I have no idea what you're talking about, and just help me catch up so we can have that
I
conversation.
can definitely say that that is the truth because I remember when I started listening to your podcast and I was listening to stuff from like 3, 4 years ago. And I was like, I can't believe you just said that. And when he said this and this happened and that, and you were like, what are you talking about? What episode? I gotta go back and listen to. I have no idea what you're talking. And I'm just like, oh, that's right. This is something that he did years ago, and I'm up here listening to it for the first time. That's another thing about
Yeah.
the fact that he just sits out there in infamy, like you know. It's funny. I'm glad you said that though. My favorite
And
episode is
and the
all of
show
them.
is unscripted.
What?
Oh, sorry. I said, and the show is unscripted, so it's not like any of this stuff is in plan. I'm in the moment. I'm answering the question in the moment. I don't remember what I said.
All of the episodes are my favorite, especially the ones when we we are on opposite ends of things, and then I gotta come in and go, "Yeah, I see why you say that." I can't even say I hate that. I can't say I hate that because I am somebody who truly and genuinely loves to learn, and I like to hear new opinions. Sometimes they piss me off at first. Sometimes it takes me a minute to calm down and go, "You know what? That's not fair to him. This person has the right to think the way that they want to." Um, I think my problem is I grew up with too many people who think just like me. As bold that is St. Louis, but I digress. My next question is what more are you wanting to do within the show? Have you thought about that? We're going to be going into year 2. Do you have an idea, any plans for the show?
Um, I know you and I have talked about the visual aspect, and we've also talked about some lives. I definitely want to engage the audience more. I think they definitely have a connection with you, and not so much with me. And I'm not saying that's anybody's fault. I'll take my personal accountability on that. But yeah, I want to engage with the audience more, and just be more impactful. It sounds like, at least for some people, we're having conversations that are meaningful and are useful to them. Um, so what's the next step? What can we do to take the step beyond the conversation? What is the you know what's the action item that we can take from these things? So I'd like to see us move in that direction.
I love that. Me too. I get asked all the time, when are you guys going to be on TikTok? Sean's suggestion was, yeah, you need to put these clips on TikTok. He was speaking more to the reels that I put out and the stories that I put out every week to give people a little bit of insight onto what we're talking about. I would like to do lives. I think that would be kind of cool. I also get asked if we're going to do visuals because people like a visual. It's kind of different when you're remote. We're not in the same city, same state, at all. So it's different. But the biggest question I get from people is how can they be on the show? I could name at least 10 people right off the top of my head right now that have asked to be a guest on the show. I do want to go ahead and put out there, um, Ken, you will never, I mean never, be on the show. I just want you to know that. I think that's a
Absolutely, never.
unanimous decision, correct?
100%. And what's understood doesn't need to be said. Ken. You know exactly what's going on.
I shouldn't be laughing with
Chill.
this little bitty voice I got left, but no, 100%. But seriously, what do you think about that? Like, I've always thought, again, I don't like big panels, and I do other people's shows who have big panels and things like that. So I hear a lot of voices, but it's literally called One Man and One Woman, the podcast. Like, you know, w- it's just supposed to be the two of us, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd be open to having somebody on the show if you were coming here to present a solution, to offer a solution. If you're a therapist and you want to offer your services or something like that, I'd be up for talking to you. If you have, um like I said, I don't want to just have more of the conversations where we re-identify the darkness. Like, the darkness is out there. We all see it. We all know where the darkness is. Um, my thing on my show used to be the light. So I'd like to bring the light here. If you are the light, if you know the way, or you think you have an answer, or you think you have a service, or you think you have something that you could provide to help us move forward, then and by us, I'm not talking about the show. I mean
As
us
a people.
as a group, as a community. Um, then yeah, I would be interested. I would be interested in entertaining guests on the show. But yeah, it is one man, one woman. So relax.
I think that would be a good thing to do on a live. Like that would be a reason to do a live, along with being able to interact with the audience, bring our YouTube viewership up. I wouldn't even mind doing the first live on my Opinion 80 Cents channel. There are a lot of people there. We have to plan that very, very well because my fragrance community is very, very opinionated and they want to come to me for what they want to come to me for. Um, I wanted to save a section. This is going to be a very short episode, you guys, because I know you can hear me. I mean, I hope you can hear me. That's the problem. But I just wanted to do a celebratory episode where it was feel good and for you guys to hear my excitement and just my pure joy. This is my baby. And it was my idea to want to do a podcast, but I knew I wanted to do one with someone. I never wanted to do my own podcast. You guys, um, What is TWS is Flan's podcast. And even though currently right now he is not doing new episodes, you should go check it out. You want to talk about a vet, somebody who knows what they're doing when they talk by themselves? I could never. Tell them a little bit about your podcast.
It's it's a personal journal. It's just I think what the tagline for the show is one man struggle with dopeness. So it's just me. I talk about everything involving me. Uh at the forefront of it is, me being a dad, a girl dad, uh, a recovering alcoholic, a black man. Just yeah, it's just me, my life. I try to make things humorous and just give you my perspective on things, but not preachy, not anything like that. Just everyday struggles being a dad.
Um, do you have any thank yous you want to give out to anyone regarding the show?
Uh, I thank you, uh, your idea, and you pushed for it. I was definitely slow in adopting the same fervor that you had for it, but you pushed for it, and here we are. Uh, I thank myself 'cause I do a lot of shit. Do a lot of shit. And that's about it. I'm gonna stop right. Well, now I'm gonna thank thank Sean, big homie Sean. He's been a hell of a supporter, and between the just the advice on what we could do for the show to just always having a comment or some sort of feedback on the episode. Um, you know, just the kind words, just all greatly appreciated. Um, Granny, Grandma, of course, you know, keeping me right for keeping me right, keeping me on the right path, making sure I'm not out here just spewing obscenities for no reason. So I definitely appreciate you and just everybody who's made a single comment or had anything to say or gave any feedback. That is one of the most difficult things in this journey to get is to just to what do you is it are you not listening because it's not good or you just don't care, like you just trying to get any side kind of feedback or information from the audience can be very difficult to do, and you guys have been vocal, and I appreciate that. Keep talking.
Okay. Now that I have my tea and honey, I might be okay. I do want to give out some specific thank yous to every single person, like you said, who's left a comment, whether you've hit me up on YouTube, on Instagram, called me, text me, to everyone who's ever shared our reels, watched our reels, and our stories. I definitely want to give a shout out to Eric G because Eric G made the little avatars of us, and I love them so freaking much. I want to give a shout out to Brian Beeline because I see him share my stories all the time. To Boom, who likes the stories wherever he sees them at, if they're inside of a YouTube group or they're on my page, he also has thoughts about it as well. To everyone who wishes well for us, to Ken. Ooh, this hurts me to say that, but to Ken, Big Smash, who wants to be on the show so much, who literally takes our show, our formula, our format, and mimics it as closely as he can. It will never be us, but as closely as he can. He wants so badly. Like I call him Flan Jr. He spends his entire life trying to be at a level of greatness that he sees in Flan. And I think that's really cute. It's going to take him about 100 more years to get there, but you keep going, Ken, okay? We appreciate you for listening, for sharing, for talking about it, and for begging to be on the show. And most importantly, for paying homage by trying to copy every single thing we do. That is just so sweet and so cute. My other thank yous, of course, again, are for anyone who has ever in any way supported this Cheryl Sabo. Thank you. You like everything, you comment, you share. For everyone who's gone to One Man, One Woman on YouTube and subscribed, shared it there. This is not an easy thing. To try to build support within your family and your friends, specifically on Facebook, is hard. A lot of times when I'm looking at my stories that I share, I have probably 3 to 9 views from Facebook. But over there on Instagram, with the people who don't know me, majority of them knowing me from being opinionated sense because that page is open, we get hundreds of views, hundreds of listens on our reels. and on our stories. So thank you to everyone who doesn't know us, who supports us better than the people that do. I appreciate you so much. And anybody else I'm forgetting, if you like I said, if you've ever supported us, I appreciate you. And for people, Karen Grigg, you sent in ideas before for the show. I appreciate you for that. Sean, my brother, he already thanked you. I thank you for the same reason. You have been our biggest supporter. I've heard more from you about this show than anybody else. And I love you for that. You are an outstanding human being. Forever my brother. We've been knowing each other for years and years and years and years. So I appreciate you. It has gotten dark because the sun set and I can't read my last question. This is ridiculous. Oh, that's not it. Oh, advice. I think you gave advice earlier, but I think we should spend a little time, maybe a couple of minutes, talking to people about the fact that this is not easy. Talking about how much it takes. All the stuff that he named earlier, go back and listen to that again. And that's probably not even all of the stuff. You might want to get an email address, start a TikTok account, Instagram account, whatever social medias you want to use with your name and domains, all that fancy stuff. Give them a little bit of help with that as to what they might want to do if they're thinking about starting a podcast. Please and thank you.
I mean, yeah, there are lots of informational blogs and things out there on all the stuff you have to do. There's a lot to it. You know, getting your RSS feed, picking a host. You know, like you said, the websites, the email addresses, logos, background music, all of that. You know, if you got to decide if you're going to edit it, if you're going to pay somebody to edit, you know, the show. If you're going to, you know, maybe you just don't edit it at all. Maybe you record your podcast on your phone and just put it out. Just understand, like there's a learning curve to this, and there's a lot to learn. You can definitely start with just bare bones, like I said, recording a podcast on your phone and putting it out. Um, but if you want to, you know, to do it and do it well, if you're looking to, uh, I don't know, I hate to even bring up money, but if you're looking to monetize at some point, then there's a lot of things that are going to come with that. You know, if we're being 100% honest, and hopefully, you know, you're okay with me sharing this, Tim.
No,
But you know, we're a year
I'm so
in.
scared. I don't think I do. If you say if I'm okay with it, I'm not. I don't know. You should just shot me a text real quick or something. Now go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we're a year in, and we're not even really having the monetization
Oh,
conversation.
you know.
Like, you know, this is a long hustle. This is, I think some people look at podcasting as maybe a quick come up, and it's not. Um, you know, building the audience, you know, refining, you know, your format, refining the show, yeah, figuring out your niche, all of that kind of stuff. It takes time, and so if you enjoy it, if it seems like something that you would enjoy doing, then by all means, because there are going to be a lot of times where that's going to be all you get out of it is the enjoyment of doing it. Everything else is going to be work. But if that's okay with you, then you know, hey, it's plenty of room for everybody. What I do love about podcasting though is that it does not feel like it's never felt like a competition to me. It feels like the people in the podcasting community understand there are enough listeners for everybody. They can listen to your show and my show. So that's a beautiful thing if you want to experience that.
And this is a celebratory show, and here I'm gonna come in and disagree. Um, but this is what we do. It's our flavor, so I'm glad it happened. This is authentically how we are. I get scared sometimes. I don't disagree that there are enough listeners, but when I think about this, the grand scheme of things, there are so many podcasts. It feels like every human being that has access to the internet has a podcast. And that was my hesitancy at first about trying to go through with this. I just thought to myself, nobody's going to watch this. For all I know, just because I don't know they exist, there could be 400 other shows just like this. And what brought me out of that was me saying, but there's only one Tara Michelle. There's only one J. Flan. So we're going to do it anyway. And the thing was, we worked together all the time on all these other podcasts. I knew we could bring something different to it. Like, honestly, I wanted to show, and we've had some knockout dragouts. Like, I've been steaming mad at him. And I know he has, maybe because we're passionate people. We're both Sagittarius. And so, just for those of you who know, then you know. But the conversations need to be had. The subject matter that we choose are important. People are listening. People are entertained, but they're also being informed. They're also forming their own questions and their thoughts on it. Like, I just love that. My friend Anthony West was like, man, I should have been on y'all show for this because he was actually going through what we were talking about in real life in real time. So I like what we add. But I do think that this market is super highly over and every other big word you can think of to describe too much. It's really oversaturated. I don't say that to tell anybody to stop. I feel the same way about the fragrance community on YouTube. Thing is, you have to be doing it because you enjoy it. You simply cannot come into this and think, I'm going to be Joe Rogan or Joe Button tomorrow. I'm going to be monetized. I'm going to make all of this money. Because when you find out that that's not how it works, and you start begging for sub and all this other craziness, you're in it for the wrong reasons. I genuinely love having conversations with Flan. Even though I know stuff may go left, I'm excited when I hear about something or I see something, I see a reel. Oh, I can't wait to see what he say about this. At this point, 99% of the time, I know what he's going to say. I know I'm walking into a trap. I know I'm setting myself up, but I do it anyway for you guys. So you can hear the female side, the male side, the kumbaya, let's build people up side and from him and the rah-rah side from me. And sometimes you can listen in real time and watch him sway me to be a nicer person. So I just think it's fun. And I think the most important thing in the world, my advice to you guys is to do it because you love it, not because you're trying to get rich. Don't change who you are and set up some dang old caricature of yourself. Get over you this I need to have a stick. Just be who you are authentically. Let people see who you are, and your people will find you. You should never want to put on a show and step outside of who you are and your element, because then you got to keep up the facade, and then you look like a joke. I don't feel it. So just be authentically who you are, and don't be afraid to just have one listener. Don't be afraid to for it to take a while for your YouTube channel to grow. Look outside of YouTube. The short form is winning right now. Like I said on Instagram, just doing 60 seconds, we're getting hundreds of views versus one, two, three, four, five, or whatever from my Facebook page from the people who should be supporting me and aren't. I got on this my bad. That just made me mad, but I didn't mean to hit that like that. Um I talked about this once before, how people who I know will share the reels of a Kevin Hart or a Trevor Noah or people who are famous, but won't support the people that they know and something that you can see they're passionate about. Won't even take the time to watch a 60-second reel or story to see if it's for them. It's and we talk to things like, talk about things like that, especially in the Black community. We don't support each other. It's kind of ick. Even if you listen to it and it's not for you, which I mean, I'm a part of it, so how is that possible? I'm great. What are we doing? Um, the attempt to support matters as well too. So yeah, that's the advice I have for people. Y'all should see how Flan is looking at me. He's like, man, sometimes this girl, I'm sorry. That's how I feel.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing, what I was looking, but
What you say?
I said I don't know how I was looking, but cool
You look
beans.
like she gonna get us in trouble again. You know what? Listen, I'm always gonna say what I gotta say. So I'm gonna say this. This is the last thing I have for here. We are at the 30-minute mark. That's what I was trying to get to, but I wanted to save this for last. I do have the biggest thank you on the planet for you. I could not do this without you, and there was nobody else I ever wanted to choose but you. You make it fun. You make it frustrating, but that's good because it's growth. I never, there's never a time when I talk to you and I don't learn something new. Whether I agree or not, I know we need more people who think like you. We need your brilliance and your voice out here in this podcast community. I am hoping you go back to doing your show too, because that is very important work, specifically with you talking about being a recovering alcoholic and the love that you show for your daughter. We need more Black dads and loving on their Black daughters out here. We don't see it enough. We don't hear it enough. So I majorly want to thank you because when I brought this to you, you were doing what, 7 different podcasts and trying to figure out how to make the time. And luckily for me, quite a few of those aren't on your regular rotation. So it opened up time for me. But I don't care what anybody says. I think 10 or 20 years from now, our conversations will still be prevalent. And I appreciate you more than I can say on this hoarse voice of mine. So thank you very much.
Thank you too, Tia. And like I said, this was your vision, and we're just gonna keep pushing.
Absolutely. And as always, to the people, be good to yourself, be kind to others, and till you hear us again next week, holla.
Holla.